Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Shao here from Elevate Performance Vlog. Today we're going to be installing the Moroso aftermarket sump onto the Track EVO 8. So we'll just take it out of the box. So quick look what's inside. So I've taken it all out of the box. There was so much packaging there, but yeah, so we've got a brand new oil pickup. We've got brand new nuts and studs, and we've got instructions and 2 stickers. Also we have these baffles here that keep the oil down at the crank, and as you can see, these are the flaps that I was telling you about. So these ones here, not sure if you can see that. And this sump is absolutely amazing, and it holds, I believe, half a litre more. So all the welds are nice. Bloody expensive unit. I believe it cost me $1,400. So can't wait to put it on. So that going into Track EVO 8. Let's do it. Alright guys, so I've just jacked up the car. I'll put it on the jack stands, nice and safe. I've got my tarp here because it's going to get a little bit oily now. So I'm going to drop the oil while it's still hot. It looks like I've got to take off the turbo exhaust pipe here. I've got to take off the starter. There's a little shield where the bell housing is. I've got to take that off. And the turbo return pipe there, I've got to take that. I might take that from the turbo up on top, and then it's just these 10 mils, and then hopefully we'll just drop it down. So let's get the oil draining first while it's still hot. Alright, so we're just gonna wait, let that drip for a little bit, maybe half hour. Alright guys, so now that we've let the oil drain, we gotta disconnect the battery now, because we're gonna be taking out the starter motor. Okay, so battery disconnected. We'll just get back underneath and see what we need to take off. So the starter motor's gotta come out. So we got one bolt there and another one on the other side here. Just crack that. So it looks like I've got to take this little plate out, and then I'll do the turbo drain, and then we should be able to take the sump out. See how we got plenty of space now because we've removed, you know, the dump pipe, the starter motor, and then we should be able to just loosen these 10 mils and take the sump out. Okay, so I've given up on the head strap. I'm just gonna place the GoPro on the floor here. So we need to take the oil drain, the turbo drain. Turbo drain off the sump. That's loose. I think it's a little paper gasket, so there we go. Alright, so that has a little bit of movement. Alright, so that has a little bit of movement, so we shouldn't have to take it off the turbo. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead now, crack all the 10 mils off the sump. And then I'll use my power tool to take them all off. So hopefully there's no oil in the sump and it doesn't make a big mess on my garage floor. Alright, so these two back here need a bell housing. The two 10 mils needed about, I couldn't fit my 3/8 socket in there, so I had to use the quarter drive. So I'm gonna go ahead now and take the rest of the 10 mil bolts off. Alright, note to self, there's two short bolts that are totally different to all the other ones. This is underneath the crank pulley, so yeah, I don't know. Right, so all the bolts are off, but what I like to do is keep one here and I like to keep one at the back there, so when I tap this it doesn't fall straight down, so we'll just hold it there and then I can just hold it and take out the bolt and slowly drop the sump. Okay, so I've got my little curved trim clip tool here that I use as pliers, and I just use that to just wedge it up against here. You know, just be careful, don't damage the block and scratch the block. So I've pried it about here because this is the only place that I can get access to, and I'm gonna do it at the back here between the dry shaft. That's the only space I can get space too. So, and as you can see, it's totally loose, and the only thing that's stopping it from dropping down is these 10 mils that are left here. So I'm gonna go ahead now and hold the sump up and just take the 10 mils off that I left it on. There's one back here, and the sump should just come out. So if you've got the right tools, it's a pretty easy job. So the sump's coming up now. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, so it's just caught on this oil cooler pipe here, so I've just moved it over and it's dropped down. So that's the bottom of it. We can check the condition of the Oil pretty good. I can see my rods and I can see my cylinders. They don't look too bad from where I see. I'm gonna get a proper line, have a look at the cylinders, and check out the pistons and any damage. So looks pretty good, pretty clean. So we're gonna take off this. We're gonna take off the pickup. As I said, when the oil is moving back and forth when you're doing corners, you know, you don't want this pickup to have no oil there, or else you're gonna get no oil in your engine, and that's how you blow it. So pretty much that's the reason why we're swapping it, as a preventative thing. Alright, so we're just gonna give it a good wipe down, and then I'm gonna start taking off this girdle here and the pickup, and then I'll just clean up these old sealer here with a bit of degreaser and brake cleaner, and then we should be able to put the new parts on. So the car hasn't been started for a while, so no oil should really run down the block and yeah, and contaminate the new seal that we're going to put on. Alright, so I got my razor blade here. I'm just going to go ahead and try to clean up all this old gasket here. So you see I've pried it a little bit here. I've actually damaged a little bit of the block there with the screwdriver, but hopefully the sealer will do its job. Alright, so I've used the razor blade and I've tried to get off as much as the old gasket sealant as possible. So I'll just wipe it down again with brake cleaner before I use the seal. But next step, we gotta take off this pickup here. So 1, 2, 3. So a couple of 14s there, and then we gotta take off this one here too. So because we got a brand new one that we gotta put in. Okay, as you can see, we have a perfect view of the block now. So I'm just going to go ahead and check the condition of the cylinders. Just make sure I can't see anything that's wrong with the car underneath, any metal bits or whatever. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the bottom girdle back in. Right, so nothing I can see wrong with the block. Looks pretty good. So they gave me a new baffle. It's a 2-piece, so I guess I'll go ahead and throw that in. Okay, so these are the baffles that they gave me. So I'm just gonna hit it with a bit of brake cleaner. Just to get rid of any dust or residue on there. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and put this new baffle in. So I believe this one goes first. We get two. I believe this one goes first, like that, and then the bottom one comes on. So this one goes first. It's a bit tricky. I'll put the middle one on first. It's a little bit hard. Alright, I'll put this one on. Middle one. Alright. So that goes, I believe it goes on like this. Alright, so that one goes on like that. I believe it goes on like that. And this one here. Alright, so the baffle and the skirt's on, the grater. So I've turned it a couple of times just to make sure that it's not hitting anything, and it seems to be okay. So time to put the pickup on. That's the OEM one. And this is the Moroso one that comes in the kit. So a little bit bigger. Let me have a look. It looks like it's a little bit longer down. Looks like. So I'll just go ahead and tighten her up. There should be a gasket between the new pickup and the old pump, but I don't have it. And the other OEM one is pretty much screwed, so I'm just going to leave it off and I'll see if it makes a little bit of a difference. Alright, so that's in. Alright, that's tight. So it's all good. Pickup's in, wipe it down. Still got a little bit of oil dripping because I turned it. So pretty much the oil that was on the crank is dripping a little bit down, but shouldn't worry too much about it. Alright, so I'll just double check, make sure everything's okay before we seal up the sump and box her all up. Alright, so before we go ahead and put sealer on the sump, in the kit comes with these studs for the new sump. So instead of bolts, they gave us studs now. So it comes with a little, you got to use a little 2.5mm Allen key and just screw it up. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of Loctite on it and then I'll just nip it up. Alright guys, so all the studs are in. So all that's left now, I've brake cleaner where the new sealant's gonna go, so that's all good. So pickup's good. Just double check everything's all tight. And the only thing left now is just to put sealer around the new sump, put her in, and we can nip it all up. Alright, so I'm just going to give it a bit of a brake clean inside. To get rid of any dirt or anything that shouldn't be in there. Just give it a nice So we just put the sealer on the sump, so you don't have to put that much, just try to fit it in the middle there, and then once we squash it up against the block, hopefully it'll just spread out. So I don't know, everybody has their own way of doing it. This is mine. So I like to do a circle around where the studs are. Right guys, a bit of a design flaw here. I'll just show you quickly before the sealer goes off. There's a 10mm nut here that secures the sump, but you can't get it on because this bolt, this stud here, is in the way. So you're gonna have to put this on first. So lower the sump down a little bit, put it first, get it started. Or else if you button it up, you're not gonna be able to get a nut on there. And also when I was putting these sump on, I had to take these studs out because we just couldn't get clearance there. And I had to bend this little bracket here also so I could get a better angle in there. So I'll bend this back later after I tighten everything up. Right, so all the nuts on the sump is all hand tight, so I'm just gonna go ahead and tighten them all up. Crisscross always. Alright guys, so the sump is in. Look at that. It looks pretty good. So it just clears my screamer pipe there. Tucks underneath the AC unit really good. So a little bit fiddly. Like I said, I had to bash this plate a little bit. And I had to remove the these two studs up here, so I can get a good angle on it, because I wanted to put it gearbox side first and then lift it up on the pickup. So I'm pretty happy with like the excess that came out once I sealed it all up. So I'm gonna let this drain. I'm gonna let this seal. Alright guys, just under the car here, we've got a little bit of an issue with the turbo oil drain. So it should sit like this and all the way up there, but as you can see, it's a little bit crooked and it doesn't line up with the with that top section there. So I've tried bending the pipe a little bit, but it just does not move, eh? So I don't really want to strip those bolts up there or else it's turbo off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find an adapter, put an adapter here and an adapter up there, and I can maybe get some AN fittings onto the adapter, and I can run a braided line all the way down, which should look a little bit neater too. It's just the sump's, the design of the sump is just a little bit off. So it's just not lining up. So I'm gonna go have a quick look online and see what I can get. Alright guys, so I think this is what I'm after. Something like that. And I can just put a hose fitting on. So I kind of want something like that, so I can put two AN lines in. So I'm going to call up the place now, see if they have any, and then I'll get back to you. Alright guys, so I guess that's going to be it for this video. I guess this is going to be a 2-part video on how to install a Moroso sump on an EVO 8. There's nothing we can do now but just wait for those parts to arrive. On the website it said that the OEM turbo drain does work with the Moroso sump, but as you can see it does not. That's just the thing with aftermarket parts. They don't really work with the OEM setup. As you can tell, I wanted to do a really detailed video because when I tried looking up how to install one of the Moroso sumps on an EVO 8, I found nothing. I just found quick 3-5 minute videos that didn't really show you in detail everything that you need to know, as in the studs. You didn't don't screw the studs up too high, or else you're gonna make contact with the timing belt. You know, the 2 studs that stick out need a bell housing. You gotta put those on after you put the sump in, just little stuff like that, you know. So if you want to see us finish the Moroso sump on this EVO 8 and then take it out onto the racetrack, you're gonna have to like and subscribe. Check all my other videos out, and I'll see you guys at the next video.